Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something pretty different. Our source is this text file, apt.pdf,
Mhm.
and just looking at it, you can tell, well, it's not your typical document.
No, definitely not. It's quite a mix. You've got Korean, some English phrases popping up.
Exactly, and words repeated again and again, these chord names like am, g, f, and then these number sequences that go down and then later go back up. It's odd.
It really does feel fragmented, almost like raw notes or maybe pieces for something bigger.
Right. So that's our mission today, basically, to
Oh.
unpack what this text is actually building towards. What's the story or the feeling hidden in here?
Mm-hmm. Trying to find the pattern in the, well, apparent chaos.
Exactly. It
Oh.
feels like it has a point,
Yeah.
even if it's not laid out clearly. So come explore it with us.
You
Okay,
bet.
so jumping right in, the first thing, I mean, you can't miss it, is that phrase, courage. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just everywhere.
It really is. And the repetition feels very intentional. Korean for apartment, of course.
Right. And it's not just repeated randomly. It often shows up near the start of these sections, marked by those numbers we mentioned. It really seems to set the scene, like, this is the place.
And it's underscored by that English line, isn't it? All you gotta do is just meet me at the crust.
Yeah.
It's not just an apartment, it's the apartment, the destination, the only place that matters for whatever's about to happen.
So what is supposed to happen at this scene? The text gives us some pretty strong clues, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. A very specific vibe.
Yeah, you see things like drink, dance, smoke, freak, party all night. And then that line, sleep tomorrow, but tonight go crazy.
Mm-hmm. Those are scattered throughout. It paints a picture of, well, pretty wild gathering. High energy, maybe a bit chaotic.
But it's not just about the party, is it? There's this other layer, this really strong sense of personal connection, or maybe desire.
Absolutely. It's woven right in. You have lines like, don't you need me like I need you now? Or don't you want me like I want you, baby? It's quite direct.
Very direct. Yeah. And then smaller things, too, like red hearts, and kissy face, sent to your phone, but I'm trying to kiss your lips for real.
Right. And come, give me something I can feel. There's this real yearning quality alongside the party atmosphere.
It's such an interesting mix, putting that intense party energy and that kind of raw desire inside a normal apartment.
Yeah. What do you think that juxtaposition does?
Well, it feels like it elevates the apartment, maybe. Makes this everyday space into something else for the night.
I think so, too. It's like the apartment itself is being transformed. It sheds its ordinary skin and becomes this hotspot for intense emotion and activity. That contrast really highlights how a familiar place can become the stage for something extraordinary.
Fueled by, yeah, connection and just letting loose.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this feeling of needing to get there. Like right now you say, hold on, I'm on my way.
Yes, and I'm coming to get ya, get ya, get ya. There's a real impatience to it.
Totally. An urgency.
And that urgency seems directly linked to getting to that apartment, to making those connections happen, to jump into that scene. It's not just a casual, hey, swing by if you want. It's more like a pull.
A magnetic pull towards the cut.
Exactly. Driven by that desire we talked about.
Okay, so moving beyond the words themselves, what about those other bits?
Yep.
The musical stuff. Am, G, F, C, E7, D.
Right, the chord names.
And those numbers. 34, 30, 26, counting down. But then later they jump up 50, 54, up to 98. What's that about?
Well, those elements are, I think, huge clues about what this text is. The chords are pretty obviously pointing towards music, right? Harmony.
Yeah, sounds like song chords.
Exactly. And the numbers, they could be section markers, maybe measure numbers, or even timing cues within a song or a track.
Ah, okay, so it's less like reading a story and more like reading instructions for a song.
That's how it feels to me, like a blueprint for something sonic, something meant to be heard, not just read on a page.
Okay, but then there's this one line that feels different, really specific. It says, "You're now won't start."
Mm-hmm. Which translates to Chae-young likes random games start.
Right. Suddenly we have a name, Chae-young, and this idea of a random game. How does that fit in?
That's a great question. It adds such a specific, almost personal touch, doesn't it? Amidst all the party calls and the declarations of desire.
Yeah, it kind of grounds it for a second.
Maybe. Maybe the whole night, the whole encounter at the apartment is being framed as this random game, something unpredictable, maybe a bit playful, that this person, Chae-young, particularly enjoys.
That's an interesting thought. Like the structure is the party, but the spirit is this random game.
Could be. It adds another layer, another texture to the whole picture of what's happening at the apartment. It makes it feel a bit more unique, less generic.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. After digging into this text, what are the main things we've uncovered? What's the core insight here?
Well, I think the strongest takeaway is that this isn't just random text. It almost certainly looks like the lyrics and maybe structural notes for a song.
Right, the chords and numbers point that way.
Exactly. And it uses repetition that Coco plus the mix of Korean and English and these musical cues, all to build a really vivid scene.
A scene set squarely in that apartment.
Yes, an apartment transformed into the absolute center for a night that's all about intense partying and pursuing connection. There's a real mood of urgency and excitement.
So it's like a dynamic map for a specific feeling and experience.
Precisely. It's a blueprint for a vibe.
It's fascinating how much you can pack into something that looks so fragmented at first glance. You know, how these short phrases, the structure, even the language mix create this whole atmosphere.
Yeah, and how grounding those intense feelings, the desire, the party energy, and something really specific and almost mundane, like an apartment, makes it hit harder somehow.
And that little detail about the random game Young likes, it just adds that extra bit of intrigue.
It really does. It shows how even very concise forms, like song lyrics potentially, can carry a lot of weight and imagery through these carefully chosen details.
All right, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into apt.pdf. So here's something to leave you with. Just based on what we've seen in the text itself, think about that combination, the really explicit desire and partying, the very ordinary setting of the apartment, and then framing the whole thing as a random game that Young likes. What might that specific blend suggest about how connection and excitement are found or maybe sought after in contemporary urban life, at least as it's portrayed right here in this snapshot? Something to mull over.